Welcome to Tallinn.
Welcome.
Tere tulemast Tallinnasse. My name is Ott. I'm economist, sport activist, entrepreneur.
My name is Lisette. I'm just a student and another volunteer. And before we start with everything, we want to get some energy into our bodies, right? Before this amazing day that's ahead of us. So we thought of something. Ott.
Yeah, we have a small exercise to you. Some of you are using computers, you can't stand up, but we ask you to do like this. Turn to your left. I'll explain in the first place and then you can start. Turn one side and talk to your neighbor. What did you see today morning? Whatever it was. Short story, what did you see today? One to another and the other to another. And then it's 30 seconds, one side and 30 seconds to the other side. If you can, please stand up. If you can't, you can sit down and do. But the only thing is that while you are talking, do like this with your hands.
So we'll demonstrate. So the question we are discussing is what exciting did you see today? And you have to talk like this while moving your hands like this. Okay. Right?
I woke up at 6 o'clock. I go to bed at 2 o'clock.
Okay,
I'm
amazing.
Already here.
Did you sleep at all?
4 hours. Okay, so let's start. Half a minute. Yeah. Now it's time. Please turn to the other side. We have a neighbor.
Või just ettepoole, ma ei teagi, kumba pidi see on. Nagu kumab niimoodi, vaata.
Okay, time is up now. Thanks a lot. Hope you got some new, nice stories. We have a lot of cool speakers today here, sharing the floor with you. We are not going to explain who they are. You probably know who they are, as you are already here. The reason why we have some small spots here empty is that we are having two parallel sessions going on right now. One is School Sport Forum, which is about 100 teachers talking about the future of youth and how sport could help them in their personal development. And there is also SCULT Academy for youngsters. There is about 130 youngsters who are taught about what is sport volunteering, and they are also prepared for FIS World Ski Cup and then the Nordic Combined Cup in Ott Pärna, which is going to be held in January already. But they all come here once we have the gala at 4 o'clock.
So we also have a photo hunt. You can take out your phones. It's allowed, and throughout the day you can take a lot of amazing photos of the day, and the coolest one you can post online, also with the hashtag SCULTWorld. And yeah, that's about it. The coolest photos get to win something.
Yes, I mean, if it's very cool photo, then you can send it to world@scult.com email, and we will do a short list, and then we will have some prizes as well. So if you want to share your photos publicly, please send these to this world@scult.com, and we will do the best. So you all are kind of volunteers also in terms of photography here, because you have these kind of computers in your pocket with perfect cameras, so you are almost professionals. About the program, you have seen it. I'm not going to go it through in too much detail, but our first, after the opening words from the rector of Tallinn University, we have Wings for Life World Run story, be talked when we have World Cleanup Day, which was on 15th of September, huge cleanup exercise. I think 17 million people were cleaning in one day their countries. And then before the first break, we will sign a goodwill agreement with FIS in terms of finding volunteers for their event in January. Actually, they 2 events in January. Then we will have refreshment break. After that, the first speech is coming from Seefeld, which is the World Nordic Skiing Championships in Austria, also soon in a few months' time. When instead of Jacob, who got sick suddenly, I got an email today at 4 o'clock night. He's very sorry, he stays in Denmark, he's sick. I wish all the best to him, and instead of him is going to be talking Ainalar Johansson, who is triathlete and who was the main organizer of Ironman Tallinn Triathlon this year, where we had like 1,300 volunteers and huge amount. Basically, it's the second city Ironman, full-distance Ironmans in Europe. We have actually the capital city Ironman. We have is Copenhagen, Denmark. Then we have lunch. Then we have a story from BMW Group about sports sponsoring and what is the logic of big groups behind sports sponsoring. We will have an interactive discussion about where the future of sport is going. Then we have a cool blind date out there. I'm not going to tell what it is, but it's a very interesting thing. And then we'll come back here at 4 o'clock. We have World Sport. We see a photo gallery of one professional photographer of sport photos first, and then we will have a World Sport Volunteers Awards Gala.
And then we'll have everybody's favorite part of the day or the night, a mega cake, and yeah.
And there is also after party at 6 o'clock in one of the cool places in the city center of Tallinn, and I heard from somewhere where some sort of after party as well. So we will get known what it is.
We'll see, yeah. But we were talking about these professional, amazing cameras. You can all take them out for a second and put them on silent, so we could respect the ones that are standing in front of you. And we thanks also to the partners who have been helping us in running that event, doing different things. Thanks a lot. You see them around, and big thanks to them. Now I would like to ask for the opening words Mr. Tiit Land, the rector of Tallinn University. Please, Tiit.
Good morning. Well, first of all, I would like to welcome you on behalf of Tallinn University to this very interesting and remarkable event and forum, which is held in our premises. I'm very, very happy about that. So, well, you probably know that university is full of students. So at Tallinn University, we have some 7,000 students, which is a big number in Estonia, because Estonia is not a small country. Estonia is a very small country. And this means that within those, well, among those 7,000 students, we have students who are very active in sports, who are top athletes. Of course, there are students who do sports just for their lifestyle. And of course, there is a huge pool of what is called here sports friends and also potential volunteers. The role of universities and of course Tallinn University in promoting and also supporting sports is at different levels, of course. So I mentioned that we have, of course, among those 7,000 students, we have some top athletes. And speaking in general about Estonia, like in these average OECD countries, roughly 40%, between 35 and 40% of age group between 18 to 24 is engaged in higher education system. And this means that these are young people. And if we talk about top athletes, they are very active, and they almost half of them are within university. So this means that one role of university or universities is to well, kind of help them to well, be active and become more successful in their sports activities. Since this age is the most active when they develop their sports activities. And of course, we know that these between in 20s, they usually perform, have their top performance. So one role of universities is is to help them at this stage. And of course, we do it at Tallinn University and through different activities and all universities do in Estonia. But at the same time, we know that this active career of top athletes is not very long in respect to their lifetime. So we also have responsibility to educate them since after 30s, when they have ended their careers, they they need to do something good in their life as well, because life is still ahead of them. So universities have a role in also educating, not lowering this, let's say, quality or threshold. They should become educated, get their diplomas. So, third role of universities in general, of course, is to promote students, young people to be more active, physically active as well. And I think this is probably, if you take this large pool of students, is probably most important role. And for example, Tallinn University, one so-called focus field of Tallinn University in our strategy plan is healthy and sustainable lifestyle. So we have one of our schools which is responsible for this activity or this focus field, and we see that this is very, very important. So we promote at different levels physical activity and also physical education. And of course, last but not least, we also have a study program at our school where we educate school sport teachers. So as we heard that there is a different forum going on today as well. So having said that, I would like to wish you an interesting day. We heard that this is full of activities, full of interesting activities, and I hope that you will also, later in the evening, you will have time for actively enjoying our beautiful city of Tallinn. So once again, welcome to Tallinn University, and I wish you a nice day and nice forum. Thank you.
Thank you, Tiit. Thanks a lot. While standing there, I was looking at the stage, and then actually everything has a role in this stage. Even this ball. I'm not going to say what it is and why it is. It has a Finnish flag. I don't know why, but Finnish is our neighboring country. It's just next door. And the bay between Tallinn and Helsinki is one of the busiest in Europe in terms of ferries going back and forth. This is Vitra Design Classics furniture. But the only thing I don't know what is the role of elephants. So you can choose what is the role of elephants here. We came with the furniture. Anyway, I will tell you a few words about what is sport volunteering and what are the trends behind sports, and then we will continue with Anita and Wings for Life World Run story. As I said, we are leading, managing, we have founded World Sport Volunteers Movement, and the main focus, what we do, is we connect sport events and volunteers locally and internationally. We know that sport is based on volunteers, but every single sport event, they have challenges in finding volunteers, as well as volunteers. If they want to go and volunteer somewhere, where can they find that information? Do they find it at the right time? If you want to go to Tokyo Olympics, you're already late in terms of applying as a volunteer. So that's why we are bringing that knowledge together and sharing it with volunteers. And we have local branches in different countries, and we are widening these branches. So we serve international events, but also local events. Why we do it? Sport is the most active field in volunteering. In Europe, about 7% all population have done some sort of work, voluntary work related to sports. Indeed, the number is declining. It was 7% in 13, now 17, it's 6%. Also, what we know is that sort of short-termism is prevailing. So they do it shortly. They go and go off. We are not committing like for a year or 10 years for one club. In Finland, we know that from 200 people active in sports, only one is paid. 199 do it in parallel to their professional work. 1/4 of volunteers in the UK are related to sports. Sport is the only field which is male-dominated in terms of volunteers. Everything else is women-dominated. And the research is showing also that sport volunteering boosts happiness and well-being, and really with big numbers if you see what it makes. And there is a saying also that if somebody has done the voluntary work for half a day, then the chances that he would go to the wrong direction would diminish like 90%. So half of a day doing something good, and 90% lower chances that you go to the wrong direction with your life. So there is something in it. Big competitions, they are based on volunteers. London Olympic Games, 70,000 volunteers. What do you think, how many applied to London to become volunteers? Well, 1.2 million people wanted to. Of course, it's London, it's capital of Europe, it's English. All the Commonwealth countries would like to come home now. But whatever the case, I mean, huge number of people want to get into the big games. But you have to start from smaller ones. And smaller ones are cool as well. It's not that the big one is cool. And I was talking about the Tokyo 2020. We expect to have 120,000 volunteers. So the number is even bigger. And there are also other trends related to sports. First, it's overall sports sector becomes less corporate and much more social, whatever it means. I was talking about the short-termism, which is prevailing now. Fan engagement is looking for new models. I mean, there's tens of thousands of people watching football, but they are only watching. They can perhaps somehow contribute as well to the sports field. And of course, the digital transformation, new technologies, analytics, e-sports, all which is coming in now, influencing everybody and everything. And also, I mean, if we're talking that sport is based on volunteers, and most people don't move in Europe. Only 1/3 of people are moving. And with youngsters, it's even worse. I think the next, it's this slide. So 60 minutes a day, they should move, but they don't move. And if sport is based on volunteers, and if we want to double the number of people moving in Europe, we kind of need to double the number of volunteers doing something in sports. And this is the reason why we're also saying that in addition to the day what you give as a volunteer, you get back much more. From a social skill side, it's network development, responsibility development, leadership skills, organizational skills, communication, cultural mix, solidarity, teamwork. But of course, the other side is access to sports. You see stars, make new friends, get closer to sports. You might be good in football, but you want to get known skiing. You go to a skiing competition to volunteer, and you study, learn new disciplines. Of course, you study sportsmanship, which is the rule of honest game, knowing how to win and lose, etc. You get mentors, you get recognition, you get positivity. And of course, you get out from a comfort zone, and your CV improves as well. Because we know that already today, voluntary work is taken as important as professional work if you go to your employment interview. So it gets you, you are not paid, but you get actually more back than to give. You give out just your Saturday. And if you're talking about health, the rector was talking also, I mean, health is, according to the definitions, it's physical, mental, and social well-being. So it's a function of these four. It's not only being physically fit without education, and you will be socially unfit soon, and then you will be like mentally unfit the day next day. So we sort of need to keep these things in parallel. And even if you're not too sporty, you can always go and volunteer. It's not needed that you only compete being sporty. And just some pictures, as I said, you see stars. This is a picture done by me in London World Championships, and the guy there is doctor actually, who was volunteering, and he was asking me, please take the picture. He saw me on the other side of Usain Bolt, and of course I helped him a bit. Of course, you can have fun, as I said, but there is a small number of athletes and big number of volunteers. Typically 70,000 athletes, Olympic Games, but 17,000 athletes and 70,000 volunteers. Much more volunteers than sportsmen. Of course, different professionalities what you can do. We helped Ironman Thailand to do last year, or this August. We have had, I think, 57 different roles of volunteering. So there are professional roles, there are things that everybody can do. These are volunteers doing pictures. We might be buying these pictures, €5 a piece. But in years coming, he might be a professional photographer. And we will see one today, Jaanus Ree Photos, who is Red Bull professional photographer, and he started as a volunteer. You can clean trash while volunteering. Swedes are calling it blocking. And actually, it was started in the UK, when it went to Sweden, and when it's going wider, basically you go jogging and you take a plastic bag or whatever bag, and you take some trash off as well while you're doing it. Doing something good, but being sporty at the same time. Of course, pacemakers. If you're running a marathon, you're anyhow running 42 Ks, but you can be helping somebody in achieving their goals as well. And again, you are a volunteer. Any kind of entertainment next to sporting events. The people who have been running marathons know that the more you have entertainment boxes next to you, the easier it is to go through the distance. And from the practical side, what we have seen, the earlier you start with volunteering, the better it is. It's a lifestyle issue, and simple one-day events can be done by very young people if they are well instructed and if somebody is looking at them. And also they have much more free time than students at the secondary school. They have boyfriends already, they want to get into the university, they have their hobbies. The earlier you go, the less they have these hobbies and things. So and you can push them towards the right lifestyle. And volunteering in sport doesn't mean that's only sport. You can go to a film festival, you can go to different cultural events, you can go to food bank, whatever, other alternative things what you can do. But it is a lifestyle thing. So that's from my side. Thanks to the SCULT world and the sport volunteering world, and I hope you enjoy the day. And in a minute, I'll give the floor now to Lisette, and Lisette will introduce you the next speaker. Thanks.